Good designs make you jealous. They make you wonder why no one thought of it sooner. Also absolutely true for any artist, isn't it?
Ooh, weren't these my lines?
Of course, Nishant, I know. I was going to give you credit.
Okay.
Guys, that's Nishant Gupta, architect, associate architect with Architect Hafeez Contractor. Did I get it correct? Smart and dynamic would be cliché adjectives to describe him. Passionate and quirky would be more ideal. Say hello to Nishant Gupta, who started his stint as an intern with the renowned architect Hafeez Contractor and climbed up the ladder to become his associate architect. He is a part of prestigious projects like the Patna Riverfront and the Mumbai Coastal Road, among others, and works extensively on compact and affordable housing. Not just that, he's counted among the iGen top 50 architects in the country. Oh, and I forgot to mention, youngest associate architect, guys, with Architect Hafeez Contractor. That's a big achievement, isn't it?
Yeah,
Do you want to mention your age?
Yeah, 30
Or
plus
would you rather
taxes.
avoid?
30 plus little taxes.
That's not too bad. So in this episode, guys, we are going to talk about smart cities, and Nishant and I are going to discuss everything, all the components that makes a smart city. So Nishant, should we go ahead?
Sure.
Okay, now everyone's been talking about smart cities. Our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he's just launched 3 urban schemes: Amrit, Housing for All 2020 and Smart Cities. Is it a utopian imagination or is it actually practical in Indian context?
What are these smart cities? If I were to answer that, let's imagine a man getting off from a 62nd floor from his French window into his car. The car takes a part aerial, part road route to his office. He gets dropped off at his office. The car itself drives itself off to the parking lot, gets into this charging mode because it's an electric car. Or think of another situation wherein an old man gets a cardiac arrest in the middle of the market, and there's a flying drone that comes into and sort of cures it, picks it up. So I think these are smart ideas that sort of would make a smart city. But how is a smart city different from a well-planned city? Now these smart cities are what they provide digital data. So our urban fabric would be full of sensors. We would have digital ear, eyes and nose surrounding ourselves. That would give enough data to these electronic big IT giants who would accumulate this data and would help all the urban planners to design life in a better way.
Well, Nishant, everything sounds great. Everything sounds really fancy, people-friendly. But before we talk about technology, isn't it essential that we look after the basic necessities of people?
Yeah.
In terms of public spaces or just good roads, to be as basic as that?
Yeah, I in fact very strongly believe, there are both sides to it. And what I feel is, I was just quoting it to my friend the other day. Everybody is talking about smart cities, but when we talk about smart cities in our Indian context, it's like you're in Nigeria and you're asking a poor fellow there what sort of cuisine would he have? Would it be Chinese? Would it be continental? Would it be Indian? And this is funny. He doesn't have food to eat, and you're asking him what type of cuisine would he have. So, our problems are much bigger. We don't have housing for all. We don't have open spaces. We don't have proper infrastructure. So I think something that we need to, take care of, our priorities should be different right now. And what these smart cities would do is just, there would be enough sensors that would give you data. But there is enough data already available with us. So we need change in policies, we need implementation, there's a lot.
Nishant, you've been working extensively on affordable housing, compact housing. How would you categorize affordable housing? Because there are different income groups of people. What, according to you, is affordable housing and who all does that cater to?
The houses which are not sold are, they start from say 30 lakh, 50 lakh, 70 lakh, 1 CR. And so somebody who's making 3 lakh a year, how can he afford a house for even 30 lakh? Every house sells on carpet area. how about we bring down that carpet area to a livable size, and it, whatever the calculation goes, the house comes for a 7 lakh, factor. So we thought, let's do it. So what we did was we did a 1 BHK, 1 room, hall, kitchen, 1 toilet, dry balcony. We did it 250 square feet carpet area, and we did this for a developer. And I've mentioned this before. The house has a diagonal wall in it, and no rooms are rectangular. But you're not looking at a rectangular room, or that space planning is perfect. That you're not missing out anything. And these houses were priced at between 5 to 10 lakhs. And surprisingly, 4 to 6,000 houses were sold just in 3 days of its launch. So I think that is the kind of demand, right? So we need to, as architects, we have a responsibility of making sure that our houses are, very nicely designed in a way that we don't waste, just for us sheer, fancy of having a crazy design.
Right.
I think we need to be smart
Exactly.
designers to sort of get the same product in lesser price.
Like how we see in Japan, what we've been reading and what we've been seeing, very compact houses designed smartly.
Yes. I think that's the need of the hour. I mean, we are wasting natural, resources of our country in making unnecessary this construction. Then second is we're doing no good to anyone. And finally, that burden comes onto the end consumer who buys the house. So he has to pay for all the negligence of, say, government, who doesn't give approvals for 3 years. So they have to pay for that price because the developer is paying, interest on that. There's negligence in terms of, let's say, from the architect side, he's trying to just in order to make a look at me building, he's trying to do something which is probably not required for this section. So I think if we work, nicely towards the goal, I think that dream of 2022 housing for all
is
can
not
be a reality.
far-fetched.
Yes, hell yes.
I was just discussing with my colleague yesterday. In fact, she had a point that got me thinking. All the premium luxury houses that are made, every house has a cost, every building has a cost. So if it's a premium house, the materials which are used, the design which is used, the cost goes up. When it comes to affordable housing, like we mentioned, for a person who probably earns just 10,000, 3 lakhs per annum, 10,000 a month.
True.
Would you then compromise on the quality of the structure?
No, not at all. I think when I say, I use the term that we need, smart design.
Right.
Now, smart design does not mean I compromise on my end product in terms of quality. No, I won't do that. I would have a flat which would have a nice flooring. I would have a kitchen which would have nice counter. I would have a toilet which would have good plumbing and fixtures. I'm not compromising on that. What I'm smartly designing is what goes hidden in that structure. So I just have one conduit of one tube that takes all the electricals in my design. What other person would do is that he'll have conduits all around his building. So you'll have a light on that wall, you'll have a light on this wall, without even thinking that even if I just change the point, I change that point from this side to this side, I'll save that wire length, right? Now, so that wire length is ultimately incurred by whom? The end user, right?
End user,
Yeah, so if I save that cost, right, I design my flooring in a way that I don't waste stones, say, or a tile which comes in a 2x2 size. So I have to sort of, these are little things most of the professionals are, at times ignorant about. And if we, I think, work towards it, we can cut down cost everywhere and, make it.
The green buildings are picking up on a large scale all over the world. Energy efficiency, use of solar power, wind power, photovoltaic.
Yeah.
How would that be incorporated in India? Because there is a cost that is attached to it.
I would come back to the core issue of housing problem. Again, like we said, housing problem, or let's say having offices, I have to be responsible in what I'm doing. So a green building would, you would get points because you have sensors in the tap. You'll use a recycled carpet. You'll, you get points for that. And are these buildings really green? that's a question, you know. So most of the developers who would want a green building could be
And
like,
that is why the rating systems are in place.
Yes. So now, I think it's a excellent initiative that we need green buildings. We need sustainability, right? I won't use the term green. I think sustainability is the word.
Right.
This is like few basics that we have learned in our education, that how the orientation of the building should be, how we should use maximum daylighting, how we should have, considering India being a tropical, in the tropical zone, how we have to use north light. I think these are very basics, and we try and use it in everything we do. So not just we had been making green buildings all through. Now that just it's become a buzzword. So
Exactly, I was coming to that because traditionally, even in rural areas, even today, we have houses made of mud, clay, jute, which are in itself, they are green and energy efficient.
True.
So why do we have to adopt all these fancy practices like creating systems? Of course, with all good intention, they are energy efficient, they are saving water, electricity, energy, waste, everything. But do you think as an architect we should go back to the basics, adopt those practices in urban areas as well? Or even the forts and palaces that you see, they were great engineering marvel.
Yeah, of course. There are great examples wherein, like say for Jodhpur, you have streets which are, very narrow, and it's hot during the day. So the ventilation system and the shading system is such that even in that heat, you don't really feel, so hot. You have high ceilings, and I think these are excellent practices that had been previously. Let's say the building we are standing now, it's a 100-year-old building with high ceiling. So some say 30 years back there was no air conditioning here.
Air conditioning reminds me, I just attended a conference by the US Green Building Council. So one of the gentlemen there, he said there could be a world possible where houses do not have air conditioning.
Yeah. There are materials where we pay a lot of emphasis on passive cooling. So how the facade of the building is, that if you're getting sun from the south, we'll make sure the staircase and the core is in the south, while all the other activities on the other side. So I think proper use of material, orientation, and smart designing, wherein there are examples all over the world.
So we'll continue this discussion, Nishant, after a very short break. So let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere because this is a very interesting conversation that we're having here.
Welcome back, viewers. I hope you had a good break.
Those are my lines. You stole them. Were you taking some kind of revenge for what I did at the start of the show?
No, I actually thought I can do this job better.
Really? I think our producer Baljit will be very happy to know. Pan the camera to him. Will be very happy to know that there's another anchor here. Okay, now coming back from the break, let's start our conversation again. Nishant, have you scared everyone away from your office? That was something that's been on my mind since a long time.
Yes.
When we started the interview.
Yes. I'm a don here. Yeah, so I made sure that when my interview happens, nobody's there to interrupt me.
No wonder you're the youngest associate
Yes.
here with Architect Hafeez Contractor.
Thank you.
Now, Coastal Freeway.
Yeah.
That's something that everyone's been hearing a lot about.
Yes.
There are some who are objecting. There are
Yes.
some who are supporting it strongly.
Yes.
You are part of the project.
Yes.
First of all, I'd like to know your opinion on that.
So what we thought was, why not make it interesting? And a city which is deprived of public spaces, which is deprived of greens, why don't we make public greens also, and have a coastal road also? So what we said that you could have, we could go reclaim around, say, we said 500 meters, half a kilometer, we reclaim into the sea and give 400 meters just to public greens. So you would have a belt of 200 meters of green. Then you have the ring road with, of course, mass transit on it. And then you have another belt of green.
Like the current Bandra reclamation, probably, because now you also have place to jog and probably just hang
Yes,
out.
of course, all along. It's a pity again that out of around 120 kilometers of Mumbai coastline, only merely 12 kilometers is open to the public, which we celebrate so much. I think there's an opportunity to create these green lands, all green lungs all around the city, but again, it's a by law, the coastal regulation zone, that regulatory body suggests that we cannot reclaim, even though Mumbai, the whole city is reclaimed by its very nature. So that's what we suggested, that we need these greens, and there would be no commercial development on it. Mind you, I'm not saying when we reclaim that we're doing it for the commercial development. What we wanted was that we would have these just public gardens, and we'll have these green bridges that takes you from one garden to the other garden, like a mound, and the road goes from below that. And after every 1 kilometer, you can have these mounds that takes you across. And I think it would be a fabulous idea to do this. Ultimately, the whole thing narrowed down to that from 500 meter came down to, we'll just give you like 10 to 20 meters of green.
Okay.
And then have the road. So I think we need to be more liberal in that, and give larger stretches of green, and go
for
about
public.
it. Yes.
So I've been meeting a lot of people and discussing the coastal freeway, the engineers, smart city experts from the US, architects.
Yeah.
Everyone's got different opinions. In Bombay, a very, very negligible percentage of people actually own private vehicles. Majority use public transport or just prefer walking.
Yeah.
Why build a freeway for vehicles? Build a metro probably. And then other engineers like, why not build an underground metro, a public transport system?
I don't agree with that. I think, when you need a meal, then you need everything. You need a portion of rice, you need a portion of dal, you need a portion of rice. You need sweet, or you need just the bread. But then you'll say, okay, it's about hunger, so you just need the bread and the curry. Okay, yes, we need the bread and the curry. But what we also need to understand is that we cannot ignore this 10% of the people also. Because these are the people.
But the 90% either.
I'm not saying that we're not doing, ignoring the 90%. While we do that, we take care of mass transit. I'm not saying we don't do it. I'm saying we do both. I'm not saying that you just take care of 90% of the public and forget the 10% who are actually the ones signing checks and giving taxes. Right. So we have to be somewhere fair for this and this. Only then, I think a country or a city can grow.
Right. I was taken by surprise when someone told me at a seminar recently that 70% of construction is yet to happen in India. That's a staggering percentage.
I'll give you another more shocking piece of study done by McKinsey, and it says that in order to meet the housing requirement and school, colleges and everything, we need to build a Chicago every year.
Nishant, personally for me, a smart city will be one. For example, if I'm living in a small town, I am not compelled to move to another city, to a bigger city for job opportunity or be it anything.
I'm seriously somewhere, at times scared that it could be like, that you have those glasses which takes you, in a virtual world. Yeah, in a virtual world. So there could be a day that,
like an Alice in a Wonderland.
Yes. And I'm wearing those glasses and I'm in a different world. And these simulations, or not just these glasses, I think with our technology, there could be certain simulation that takes us into this world which feels like a real world. And we forget that, how the real world is really crumbling outside. So I think that could be a smartest city, because, that would be the smartest city if you are not able to, really come up with a solution to make our city smart. So I think,
Yeah, so talking of Dholera and Gift City, which are being developed as smart cities in Gujarat.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I feel wearing rose-tinted glasses when I see the videos.
Yeah.
The videos seem like some sci-fi Hollywood fiction.
Yes.
So, but even if they're developed that way, would I want to move from Bombay to a place like Dholera? Would that be made that way at all?
We are being, selfish, somewhere in thinking that, we were just thinking about ourselves, but we have to sort of think from an angle. Let's say, I'm not from Bombay, I've been working here for last 7 years. Before that, I worked, I studied in Delhi for 6 years, and before that, I, studied in a school in Jaipur. So I always wanted to sort of grow from, and before that, in fact, I was born in a very small city in Rajasthan. So, as a, for better prospects for health, education, job opportunities, we would grow from smaller cities to, bigger cities. Like how I did, right? So everybody else in smaller cities, of course, like, there would be so many small cities around Dholera who would be, people are, they're ambitious and they have certain aspirations. They would want to move to Dholera. Why not?
A very well-known engineer mentioned, if there's an earthquake, if an earthquake occurs in Mumbai, 50% population will be wiped out.
I think these are...
Would be an exaggeration, but even if it's 20%, say.
No, it's speculation. It's speculation, and when he says, probably he's correct, because then he's not pointing out to the new construction.
Right.
What he's pointing out is to the existing structures. Not the new structures which are built in last, say, 30 years. I think they are more than, they can stand, because you have structural engineers who certify it, and we take care that they are not just, for, just be on the safer side. The safety quotient is double than what is required, and we have we understand what zone a particular area lies.
Compulsory for all the structures to be climate resilient, earthquake resistant.
Yeah. So it is like that. So when we designing a building, it is, of course, earthquake. We take care of which zone it lies in. Let's say it's on this particular zones. So the whole country, a whole world is divided into zones, that this is the zone. So we take care of that, and accordingly, the structure is taken care of. Coming to your, the previous question, the half of the Mumbai would be wiped off is for the fact that you have a lot of dilapidated buildings.
Finally, I want to ask you, what is your dream project, the kind of world that you would want yourself and the entire human race to live in, or Indians to live in?
Buildings could fly, and there could be electricity that could flow through, sky.
You never know, that could happen.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that is a more sci-fi world I would want to,
like I was reading about Japan, since they have no place, they are planning to construct cities on the sea.
True.
Could be in the air.
True. Yeah, that reclamation has been happening for so many years. Unfortunately, we are not doing it, but the whole world is doing it. But yeah, to answer specific, to be more specific, it's sort of, it hurts me. I said this so it's a shame that all these years gone by, we could not make a single structure that could represent, our national capital. Or so I think I would want to, for maybe call it for, pomp, ego, or glory, some structure that would, say,
glorify
yes,
a nation.
that announce it to the world. Yes, we have arrived. Honestly, somewhere I want to, come up with a housing solution wherein we can house every Indian. So I want to, my dream has become a house for every Indian.
That's a great thought, Nishant, and I hope this actually comes true.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us, and hope to see you real soon on our channel again.
Sure. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you.